Today I'm just gonna ramble like the title. Um, I don't really have an idea for today's video, so I'm just gonna do a podcast and talk about random stuff. I'm gonna go off of the Perf Rambles ideas post thing in the Discord. So if you want to give me ideas, I'd really appreciate it. It'd be so awesome. But let's see. The first thing that they wanted me to talk about is tier lists. Could be about anything. Alright, you guys want a tier list? Let me give you a tier list on, what's it called? Star Wars, right? Because I love Star Wars. Actually, I changed my mind. Let me do the top 5 Warhammer, like, Space Marine chapters, okay? We love the Astartes here, my friend. Friends, there's multiple of you watching this, I hope. Starting at number 5, we gotta go with probably the safest pick, the Imperial Fists. Imperial Fists were the biggest legion. They were the main force during the Horus Heresy, and they're overall the most well-rounded outside of the Ultramarines. It's a really simple pick, and it's really safe too, because like a bunch of second foundings came from Imperial Fists, like the Black Templars. Everyone knows Black Templars. Crimson Fist. Everyone knows Crimson Fist. And I believe the Red Templars? I could be wrong about that, though. Don't quote me. Boss, if it's wrong, edit it out. But, speaking of Ultramarines, that's going to be our number 4 pick. The Ultramarines are also a safe pick because of how well-rounded they are. And it doesn't hurt that their Primarch is the current leader of the Imperium. You know, I feel like that is a really simple pick, right? Especially from the games. Like, they get so much love. They get all these models, like for the board game, and then in the actual games too. All of the characters are Ultramarines. All the playable ones, at least. Titus is an Ultramarine. Malum Kaido is an Ultramarine. What's it called? There's even like I just feel like the games really show off, like, the Ultramarines more. Especially, like, around the end of the game for Space Marines 2, when Marneus Calgar dropped in all aura full with his bulwarks. And then he proceeded to tank a, a warp demon. That was really cool. And then Titus followed right after him. W pulls. W pulls. But overall, the Ultramarines are defo like GW's Game Workshop's like favorite, and it's just a safe pick because you know of how reliable they are. So number three, we're gonna have to go. Okay, this might be a bit of a hot take, but based on what I know, I have to put the Dark Angels at number 3. Now I know what you're saying. Why Dark Angel is number 3? It should be easy number 1. I'm saying number 3 because, well, first off, the Dark Angels had to be forced off of Terra. Otherwise, the Heresy, like that final raid, wouldn't have even been able to happen. Because the Dark Angels and the Lion were just that much of a threat to the entire Traitor Legions, to all of the heretics. They had to force them off world. Trick them, you know? But it didn't really matter because the number 2 spot goes to the Blood Angels. Now, the Blood Angels, before Sanguinius arrived, were canonically the most chaotic and like scariest legion to go up against. They were feral. They were maniacs. If you think the current like World Eaters are bad, yo, imagine back when the Blood Angels were called the Ninth Legion, right? Like, bro, these guys were nuts. Okay, it could be the 6th Legion. I might have gotten... No. X? What is X? Sorry, guys. Roman numerals. IX. There we go. No, not LX. IX. Not ID. Oh, my days. 9. It was Ninth Legion. I was right. I was right. I'm so awesome. But this last one might be biased. But overall, the top Legion, right, would have to go to the Salamanders. Because the Salamanders, listen, the Salamanders aren't the strongest. This is the best Legions, right? This is like overall stuff. Sure, the Salamanders are like around Ultramarines level, right? They aren't Dark Angels, they aren't Blood Angels, but they're still they're capable Space Marines. Their Primarch is the strongest Primarch out of all of them, physically at least, because he was able to beat the Emperor in a lifting competition on his own planet, and the Salamanders also prioritize the citizens, which is amazing for the Imperium. If it wasn't for like those legions, like the Lamenters and the Salamanders prioritizing people, there would be no people. Imagine if all the Space Marines were Night Lords or Grey Knights. That'd be pretty bad for us, because everyone have to die every time they get deployed. Not really a good thing. Salamanders and Ultramarines, because I know Ultramarines also care too, a little bit. But overall, the Salamanders and the Lamenters, those guys would be your best pick if you're a normal dude. And that's why they're the best Legion, because they're prioritizing the actual important things in the Imperium, the people. If it wasn't for humanity, what would we have, Speaking of, honorable mention goes to the Lamenters, because I'm biased as hell. I love the Lamenters, and their luck is... Their determination to keep going, even after all this bad luck happens to them, genuinely an inspiration, man. It's something we should all be looking up to. I feel like it's also pretty funny, because like based on my research, I could be wrong, but based on my research, the Lamenters have a 50-50 win to lose ratio, both in lore and on the board game too. It's pretty bad. I feel bad for those guys. But regardless, I love them, and I personally would wear Lamenter armor. You can call me a little mustard boy all you want, guys. But the Lamenters, I don't know. Something about them sticks to me, that ability to keep going after all that adversity that they have to go through. Because I know for sure the Lamenters have it worse out of every Legion. I mean, like, you guys saw in the comics, they accidentally fought on the traitor side because they were tricked, and then the Minotaurs showed up and pretty much wiped them out. And let's not also forget that battle. I believe it was a space battle that they got into, and they got destroyed by by like this greater demon. They didn't know the greater demon was supposed to be there. The greater demon just showed up. That wasn't that fun. I still feel bad for them, and I always will, because they're my boys. Let's also. I was supposed to talk about more topics, but this is probably just going to be the entire video. I don't have a script this time, so I'm for real, just like talking, just spitballing here, But the Lamenters pretty much got wiped out by the Minotaurs, right? There was I think one Dreadnought left from the Lamenters, and he ended up joining Deathwatch because everyone else also thought that the Lamenters were gone. But what that Dreadnought didn't know is that his Legion survived, his chapter's alive. But they don't know. The alive Lamenters don't know about that Dreadnought, and that Dreadnought doesn't know about them. So to that Dreadnought, he's the last Lamenter, and that breaks my heart, man. Genuinely, I love those boys, bro. That's why I love the Salamanders too, because the Salamanders are kind. Being kind just for the sake of being kind is something that I think everyone should try doing. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not really the best person. I try to be, but at the end of the day, there's not much you can really do. So just be kind. I try being kind. I help everybody as much as I can. I sometimes give more to people than I give to myself, which isn't good, by the way. You guys should always prioritize yourselves, because if you can't if you need help, how can you help others? Go help yourself so that you can help other people. It's that easy. But that's gonna be the end of this video, because I'm for real running out of ideas, and I don't want to. I want to save these other ideas for more videos, more podcast ideas. Because I know that there are some people that turn this on in the background, like while they're doing stuff. I would name drop, but that'd be kind of mean to other people. So I'm not gonna do that. But to you guys who just keep the video on for the entirety of the video, I love you guys. You guys are keeping my watch hours up, and that gives me the motivation to keep going, because if you guys watch my videos, I can see like what's it called, the average watch time for every video. I mean, like my longer ones, they don't really do that well. There's only like 30%, and like that 30% goes into like the first 5 minutes and drops it, and that kind of sucks. But I still keep pushing. We do what we can do, and worry about what we can't do later, because there's nothing you can do. You just do what you can. Alright, I said I'd end the video like 2 minutes ago and I'm still yapping. I'm sorry, guys. Hey, thanks for watching. New gaming video on Monday. I'm trying to do 3 videos a week until I start making money. I need money. I need $1. Someone will pick up that reference. But yeah, thank you guys. Love you. Have a good day.